Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's December 8th, 2020, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the rotation in the markets continue as we're watching a seesaw of different symbols getting stronger and weaker. So starting out with our economic events of the day, nothing scheduled for today, but looking at the Forex symbols, British pound retraces at resistance. Some will call it because of Brexit, but it was at resistance, didn't sustain that 135-ish level and did retrace. Now looking at the indices, the NASDAQ still strong, while the Dow Jones tapers off. This is one of the rotations that I'm talking about. Looking at the commodities, gold continues to rally while oil is pretty much unched. Again, the rotation continues. Looking at the stocks, Alcoa keeps on going. I didn't have to change anything today. This has been the stock of the month as it's appreciated over 100% over the past couple of days. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin pretty much unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start here with the GBP USD. You can see this 135 cannot sustain it. This was a rally that we had going into the beginning of this week, towards the end of last week. We capitulated at this 135.37 and then nosedive down to 132. That's over a 300 pip move over the past few days. So that is a major retracement for the GBP as it hits this snag. Now, if we look at a longer time frame, and this is something I highlighted the other day, we were above this 134, but not sustaining it. Okay, this 134.12-ish level was your trigger price. And even if you didn't get from the typey top of 135, even if you got at 134, you still had 200 pips on the way down. Now jumping into the Aussie USD, it's still sustaining itself above this area as well, but not really retracing with some oomph. The euro doing the same thing, so I'm not going to jump into it. But looking at gold, gold continues to rally higher, up from 1836 to 1867. Looks like an about face. Okay, this is exactly what I was looking for on a daily chart. If we look over the past couple of weeks, gave us a massive buying opportunity at this 1767, which was a previous resistance-ish level, and we're back to normal levels. Now we are hitting a bit of a snag here at 1867. Okay, so just keep that in mind going into today's trading session. Okay, this is potentially a resistance-ish area. Now jumping into the indices, first the NASDAQ on its highs, 12,570, not breaking lower, just sustaining itself as it's going higher. There are a few new companies that are issuing stock into the markets that are having IPOs this week, so a lot of buzz about that. However, we're not breaking out higher with the major stocks, okay? Again, the rotation continues, okay? Yesterday it was Facebook and Apple that pushed us higher. So this may continue going higher, okay? But this rotation will continue in the stocks. Now, looking at the Dow Jones down this morning below 30,000 after hitting a high of 30,200 last Friday, and then just taking it further down. Okay, now this doesn't mean it's the end of this. This doesn't mean that we're going to have a massive sell-off. This just means that we're retracing, okay? With everything taking into consideration, in the US, second wave is hitting big time, okay? So certain states are going into lockdown, certain states are not going into lockdown. There's a lot of national rift, okay, socially, not just in South Africa, obviously, but also in the United States as a result of, you know, Republicans saying we should open up the economy and Democrats saying we should just close it down. So with that said, it's really reflecting in the markets. Now, looking at Apple yesterday, a big rally for it all the way up to 122 from 120-ish level. That was a decent rally. Now, looking at Facebook, also had a decent rally yesterday. If we look at a 1-hour chart, look at that, hitting that 287 and then retracing just a bit. So with that said, okay, these type of spikes are going to be found. Now, Microsoft, on the other hand, didn't do anything. It's dead below 215. So this is what I'm talking about. The rotation is that it could be Microsoft today that takes the markets higher. Okay, but what has been consistent is Alcoa. Look at that. It continues to stay on its path, on its strong path, okay? 23.27 yesterday. JP Morgan not doing much, also on its highs. But it's really Alcoa that I'm looking at for a signal on the high side, okay? So just keep on looking at it, okay? We are at an important time in the year. As we're going from Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's generally a rally-ish time period. So with that said, just keep that in mind as the markets are somewhat sustaining these areas. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we're pretty much flatland here at 19,123. Now, this may become interesting again once it breaks above this 1948 or below 1896. But with this in this area, kind of very difficult to trade this flatlining kind of atmosphere. So just be aware that there are times that you have to pull back and just wait for the trade to come to you. Okay, this is a case in point. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.